Brad, I cannot stress enough how smart I think this is on both Team Canada and Team USA's part. Both of these women had to have knots in their stomach. Both of these women are entering the first ever Canusa Classic. Both teams want to get those women, get those jitters out early and put them together against an opponent who's also experiencing the same things that you are. But Brad, who has more pressure in this match? We've got Jody Threat, who's been around in here in Smash Wrestling for a while now, now entering her biggest match in her history here in the company versus Nevaeh, who's not just making her Canusa debut. I can't even talk right now.
You're so excited.
I am excited. She's making her Smash Wrestling debut all in one go. Who has more pressure?
I think because of that, Scott, Nevaeh has much more pressure on her. She's wanted to be in the Canusa Classic. She's wanted to be here in Smash Wrestling. And now she has the opportunity to do both.
Well, Brad, ever since last year when Jody Threat watched Canusa Classic from the sidelines, she made this her goal to get here one day. 1 year later, here we are. And she has a chance to get Team Canada on the board early.
That's that all-important momentum.
Well, this is the other thing that the Canusa Classic brings, is these first ever matches. There's the opening bell, Nevaeh versus Jody Threat to kick off the 2018 Canusa Classic.
Who do you give the advantage to here, Scott?
Well, I think it's a stalemate at this point, Brad, and that's the point that I was trying to make earlier, is that this is so smart on behalf of both teams when they were putting together the order of who is going to compete when tonight. That strategy plays a massive part in the Canusa Classic. You got to be careful about who you're matching up against and where you're putting each other. To put these two first, to get the jitters out early. Not only to mention, worst case scenario, Brett, let's say hypothetically your team does lose this match. There's still margin for error. It's best of 7. If you lose the first match, the tournament's not over. Plenty of time to come back. But that being said, momentum is a big thing in a best of 7.
You're right. Momentum is huge. You want to be able to pick up that first win and be able to afford a loss. Not that you want to lose any matches, but you want to have that comfort zone.
We see a bit of a stalemate as, again, Brad, the jitters have to be going through both of these women.
Absolutely, but you're right, Scott. The jitters, it's good that these two are out first, because if they had to sit in the back and watch match after match, those jitters would just build and build and build.
Well, and that's it. And I think to an extent, a lot of those jitters go away the second they hear that opening bell ring. And now perhaps we're going to get a test of strength between Canada and USA. Nevaeh and Jody Threat.
This could also be a stalemate here.
Well, they are now in a Greco-Roman knuckle lock, and Jody Threat getting the early advantage here. And fans here in Smash Wrestling are used to seeing this from Jody Threat. But now Nevaeh
has the experience advantage of Nevaeh. Able to kick Jody Threat's hand right out of the Greco-Roman knuckle lock and transition into a side headlock.
But Jody Threat wisely muscling Nevaeh into the corner, forcing a break. Up and over, Jody Threat landing on the apron. Oh, and a straight forearm shot right to the jaw there from the Wild Child. Oh, and a knee to the face.
Jody Threat, whoa.
Rolls her way back in. And a drop kick. And down goes Nevaeh, crushing hard in the corner.
Nevaeh back to the vertical base. Jody Threat.
Oh, what a clothesline there from Nevaeh.
Looks like Threat might be looking spear. Hang on a sec, cover
here, and a kick out of 1 there from Threat. This is the other thing to consider too, Brad. Neither one of these women wants to be the one that puts their team behind.
No, absolutely.
And especially Jody Threat here representing Canada in her home country, considering that Team USA won this tournament last year. The last thing you want to do is come out and start Canada out from behind.
Jody Threat, she's got the weight of a nation riding on her shoulders here.
But at what point, Brad, do you have to block that out? At what point does this become just another match?
Ideally, as soon as the bell rings,
Massive stomps there.
Good Lord.
But I think it's got to be in the back of her mind on both their parts.
Absolutely. There's no way. You're representing your nation. You're representing professional women's wrestling as a whole.
Snap suplex there from Nevaeh. And Brad, it's also
Hang on a sec here.
Cover here from Nevaeh. A kick out again at one from Jody Threat. It's also worth pointing out, you talk to a lot of, I'm going to make a hockey analogy here, you talk to a lot of hockey players, and a lot of them value representing their nation, representing their country in the Olympics a lot more than winning a Stanley Cup. And that's just what it means to be able to put a country's flag on your back. And that's what both these women have an opportunity for the first time ever to do here tonight.
And Canusa is that one time a year where, you might not be friends with everyone in the back, but when the national pride is on the line, you rally together for a better cause.
As Nevaeh now trying to wear down Jody Threat. Taking some liberties with the rules here.
She's got the 5 seconds, but the referee can disqualify within the 5 seconds if he feels that the rules are being broken too much. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Here. Well, I don't think you're going to see anything but being called right down the middle from the official. This tournament's too big. I think there's going to be a lot of leeway given on both sides.
I would imagine so.
Because the last thing an official wants to do is insert himself into this tournament and make it about himself. But right now, Jody Threat said it's all about her. German suplex into a cover. Kick out there from Nevaeh. Not much of a kick out there, more rolled out of that cover.
Well, sometimes that's all you need. Use the body weight to roll your momentum out of the cover.
She landed hard on the back of her head and neck.
And even then, that expends less energy than physically kicking out.
And now this thing's just breaking down to a slugfest. Forearm shots from both women. Just back and forth. This thing's breaking down. Forget technicalities. This is just a fight now.
You made the hockey analogy earlier. This is like a hockey fight.
And now here comes Jody Threat. She got caught though. Oh!
That might be it. Both women are down.
Yeah, Nevaeh unable to capitalize though, Brett. Threat is down, Nevaeh is down. At the very least, Nevaeh is giving herself a breather.
Nevaeh is at least moving. Jody Threat finally starting to stir. Nevaeh into the cover
here. 2 in. Jody Threat able to get the shoulder up. Just took too long there, Brett.
You gotta wonder if the seconds it took to start stirring for Nevaeh just cost her the match.
Well, they at least cost her that opportunity to end it. Irish whip there. Spear! From nowhere, Jody Threat hits a spear. And she's sensing that the end is near.
Jody Threat.
Hoisting Nevaeh up onto her shoulders.
The power of Jody Threat.
F5 connecting. Threat into the cover. 2. And that's it. Team Canada on the board early.
The winner of this contest, Jody Threat. With that victory, Team Canada now leads 1-0.
We cannot understate how big that victory is for Jody Threat. Able to put Canada on the board early.
Absolutely, Jody Threat giving Canada the early advantage, giving Canada that leeway, that all-important momentum to build towards perhaps winning this whole tournament.